Sir, do you find any good deals?
No.
No? Sir, did you find any good deals?
No good deals at all.
What'd you find?
Buddy Christ, though.
Thank God. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of the Nerd Buffet podcast. My name is Jake.
And I'm Tommy.
It's very nice to have you with us, as always. Today, we're going to get started by talking about actually kind of a sad story about Hastings Entertainment, a company that, or a business, I should say, that many have grown to love, and many, just reading comments and stuff, it's part of their everyday, every week life. I mean, there's people losing jobs.
Yeah, part of their culture and
Yep.
Their lives, growing up. I know for me, I've never been to a Hastings store, but it's sad for me to see stores like this going out of business. Retail shops, actually brick and mortar shops, that sell comic books going out of business, because it's just kind of a way of saying that the media is changing, and it's not the way it used to be.
For them not to be able to
I know
business.
I know they sell more than comic books, but as a big part of their.
It really is. I mean, that's the hardcore, I guess, the hardcore audience, if you want to call it that, talks about that. That was the place I go to get comic books. It was a big store in my city, you know.
It's hard to see like mom and pop stores, like just individual comic book stores. How can they make it in a market where a store this size couldn't, So
the story was in around June. I had heard about it. I'm not sure how far back the announcement went, but I think it was June. Hastings Entertainment was seeking a buyer for, it's actually a 126 store chain. The closest to one, because we're in southeast Iowa, the closest one to us is in Kirksville, Missouri. And I try to make a trip down there at least once a month ever since I first heard about it, which sadly was only like 4 months ago. I've been there 3 or 4 times now. And it's not a small chain. 126 is no small number for 50 states.
Not at all.
They were sold actually 2 or 3 years ago for a little over $21 million. But as it came to pass a few weeks ago, they announced that no one bought, and so they announced Chapter 11 bankruptcy. They're going to be having a liquidation sales from now until Halloween on October 31st. That's when they've got to have everything.
That's when everything's got to be gone.
Yes. So this weekend they're doing sales. We're not really sure if it's like a liquidation company or whatever that's taking care of it, or if it's sales on top of the sales they already had. But right now they have advertised 30% off sales this weekend. So we're going to go check that out. And, of course, I'll probably be buying some stuff. I know my girlfriend can't go out of there without spending at least $100, it seems like. So we're actually going to get some video of us there. We're going to try to get some good shots of the store for those of you that don't have one nearby and have never been to a Hastings. Unfortunately, since we're not going to be able to share it with you and you're not going to be able to go there much longer, we'd like you to at least see what it is that people are missing.
At least catalog this for future generations. So when the aliens dig this up, they're like, oh, there was a store called Hastings where all the nerds went to.
And this was the beginning of the human demise when the store went down.
The beginning of the end.
So I think it would honestly be really cool. I want to voice over a lot of the video that we're going to be showing. But I think because I really am a little bit passionate about doing this, because a lot of people aren't going to get to see it ever. This is Tommy's first time seeing it, so I think it'd be really cool to, I'm going to try to get as many of his reactions as I can, because it's like a nerd candy land. Of course you got to pay for everything that you want to leave with.
Right, just like a candy store.
But for those of you who have been in the Des Moines area, it's kind of like Jay's CD and Hobby, I guess, but hey, you're going to see here in a minute. So let's visit the future.
Jump into the future?
Yeah, we're going to...
Whoa!
What do you think so far?
It's a store. It's a good one. There's a lot of stuff here. I've seen most of it before.
I found this. I'm going to surprise Tommy and show him that this exists. bring out the GIMP box set. Look at this.
They're like Legos, and they got the GIMP.
Does it come complete with sodomization or sodomizing motion?
They're like Lego guys, so I don't see any ways for sodomy to happen. There is coffee cups and donuts, though, so
Yeah.
when Bruce Willis hits him with the car.
Oh, Jesus Lord.
That was a good trip.
It was a good trip, but like I said,
I
it's very
thoroughly
sad.
enjoyed my experiences.
In the things that you bought. They're
Yeah, all the
so
things
nice.
I bought. We'll have to do another video for those.
Yeah. We did buy things, and they saw what we bought, but we don't know what we bought yet.
Don't spoil it for us.
Yeah, don't. What? So going from there to the next thing, we have no good segue, admittedly.
No.
But last week was Comic-Con in San Diego. So I mean, of course, since it's the big Comic-Con, we didn't get to see really cool things when we went to Wizard World. Well, we did get to see.
We saw cool things.
We
but
saw.
There was nothing that was announced big, like Comic-Con gets the big announcements.
I was thinking of this. This is going completely off of the trail, but we saw both of the champions, both of the soon-to-be champions.
Both current champions, yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Dean and Sasha Banks were at ours, so suck it, San Diego. But getting back on track, we did talk about a few different things.
Yeah, we're going to talk about some of the things that interested us with movies.
Yes. Number one, the most excited I was, besides Justice League, we already talked about that, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 is... Marvel has announced that movie is the furthest along in production because it's coming out this next May, 2017. Did you see much or?
I haven't seen anything except for the Kurt Russell announcement.
I watched the best of the actual panel. Mm-hmm. There's no leaks, sadly, online because I'm one of those people that's like, give me all the leaks. I want to see the things now. I don't care what kind of quality it is. There's no leak of either of the trailers that they got to see. Supposedly they
did see trailers.
They saw a trailer, and they saw like a making of, kind of like with Star Wars
like
last year.
Like a miniature documentary.
Yeah. And then Yondu came out in full costume.
Michael Richter.
Yes.
What's his name?
Yes. Yondu came out in full costume. Something that was really cool. You might understand more. Somebody had to tell me that's actually it made more sense. But his mohawk thing that he had, you remember in the first movie he used
he
it
just
to
had like
whistle?
a cybernetic mohawk type thing.
Yeah, he used it to whistle and the arrow would shoot. Well, supposedly, I don't know the comics very well, but the mohawk thing is much bigger.
Is it red? Like
it's like orangish red.
Yeah.
And it, like, since he has this one now, and it was bigger in the panel, he doesn't have to whistle. It can communicate better with the thing, which makes sense.
He didn't have, to my knowledge, a mind-controlled arrow in the comic books.
Oh.
His race of alien just naturally
They just have that.
have the mohawk. It's organic. It's not cybernetic.
Okay.
So it's just a long red mohawk. I'm sure I'll be corrected if I'm wrong, but this is of my understanding. And he just used the bow and arrow.
Okay.
Like I said, it may have had different properties that were mind controlled, maybe, but it wasn't like here's an arrow that I can just control.
I actually really liked that about the movie.
Yeah, it was since Guardians of the Galaxy isn't as well as an established canon, like in our culture and psyche, as a Superman or a Batman. We've had that stuff forever, and people are more familiar with it. Guardians of the Galaxy have only been around in its current form, since like 2006.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's not been around for a long, maybe 2008.
Wow.
It's fairly recent. So it's not as ingrained in our psyche as in like, we have to have it this certain way or else we're going to be mad.
Yeah.
So Marvel can have different liberties with the property, and people aren't going to be as up in arms.
Butthurt about
as,
things.
like, I'm going to use, for example, Jared Leto as the Joker, and he's got all these tattoos
and stuff.
and the grill in his mouth, and people pitched a fit.
Yeah.
About it.
Yeah.
Because this ain't the Joker I knew. And I was one of those people. So I'm one of those people to blame. But
the closer it gets, though,
the closer it gets, the better it looks. Yeah. Suicide Squad next week.
I'm so excited about it. We're going to get to that. We want to talk about Suicide Squad. It's like bleeding and sweating out of us that we want to talk about the Suicide Squad, and we just want to see the movie.
But yeah, sorry, I kind of went off about Yondu and Guardians, but...
I was going to say, the only thing I can really contribute, because I'm not yet a comics person, I'm going to try to jump into it as much as I can, but I don't know much about Yondu besides the movie. That's all I know about the Guardians, and that movie took me by such a surprise. I remember the first time I heard about it, I was like, this is stupid. And then the first trailer, I was one of the the early adopters of saying, hey, this is going to be an awesome movie. Because the trailer had Hooked on a Feeling on it. And I was like, okay, you have my money. Automatically, this is going to be the greatest thing ever.
You are a big sucker for songs and trailers.
Absolutely.
Changing your opinion.
With Suicide Squad as well.
Because you're like, this looks terrible. And then it was Bohemian Rhapsody. And you're like, oh, thank God.
Yeah, best movie ever made. This is going to be the best movie ever. And that's absolutely true.
Which is a lot to say with, the way a score can change a movie, And
absolutely.
Even a trailer, so...
Yep, you got my number on that.
Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1, one of the best soundtracks in any movie.
Yes.
That I can think of. I actually bought that one, so...
Did you really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I'll have to listen to it sometime. Kurt Russell is playing Star-Lord's dad, from what I gathered. I don't know who his character is. I just know I like Kurt Russell, and I like Star-Lord.
Kurt Russell is Ego... the living planet. Like a literal planet. Like a planet.
The only thing I saw was like a picture. It was a planet with like a face.
A face, yes, exactly. And depending on which comics, they could be doing any sort of thing. One of his origins, before, they change origins all the time. It was a scientist that got trapped into like a supernova and then became
turned
a planet.
Into a and lived somehow.
And its consciousness was in the planet. One of the cooler things...
So it's not like MODOK, like...
Not like MODOK,
okay,
where it's
just big head.
Yeah. And one of the cartoons, it's actually a ship. The planet is actually a ship, like an extension of a much smaller basketball-sized Ego.
All right.
And I think that was Hulk Agents of Smash that I watched. Not, canon at all, but I'm just saying there's a lot of ways they can go with it. I know for one of the funnier things in the comics is Ego had an infestation of some sort of arachnid,
like spiders?
Like spider-type insects on his planet, and he hired Rocket Raccoon to come and kill them all.
Oh.
So, run around on his planet body and kill them all. So I don't know how they're going to make that thing Star-Lord's dad.
Yeah, like how did he mate with Star-Lord's mother? How did that happen?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's funny. Also, I'm sure that this joke isn't lost on a lot of people, but his name's Ego, and he's a giant head.
Oh yeah. I didn't even think about that. So that's funny. So yeah, and it really looked like to me from what I heard about it and when they were talking to him in the panel, it's kind of going to be a story. I guess the best thing would be Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, two meaning like two dads.
Yeah, A Tale of Two Fathers is what James Gunn.
James Gunn did say that. It's A Tale of Two Fathers.
And he actually confirmed that Ego is his dad in this movie. So
yeah, so it's not like speculation or anything.
Yeah, James Gunn confirmed that.
So of course, Star-Lord doesn't know who his dad is, and he was taken off of planet Earth for his dad, right? He was hired by Yondu. That's what they allude to at the very end of the movie. Yeah. Yondu was hired with his crew to kidnap him to bring him to the dad, right? Mm-hmm. And never ended up following through with that. So Star-Lord's never met his dad, and Yondu's never been. Well, I mean, he's been a good dad to him. He's obviously made him.
Yondu raised him. Yeah.
So I mean, that's going to be a good story, especially if Yondu takes more of a bigger role in this story.
So it's like Star-Lord, he's like, okay, I'm going to meet my father, and I want to learn about my real father, but I also have this allegiance kind of to my stepfather. And
To my redneck side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting. Like James Gunn said, the first movie was Star-Lord and his mom, their story, more or less, and this is...
Oh, yeah, it was about his mom. Man,
Yeah.
I admit, at the end of the movie... Like, at the beginning of the movie, I cried at the beginning.
Saddest
when his Yeah,
like,
I cried at the beginning of the movie.
Up in Guardians of the Galaxy, the saddest first 10 minutes of movies ever.
When his mom was saying there, like, take my hand, and he, like, couldn't look at her. Like, that was sad. But then at the very end, like, at the climax, when she says, take my hand, and then it's Gamora saying, take my hand, I was like, you know, it's a really touching movie, man, and if you haven't seen it, go check it out. But another one that Marvel has coming out, that's hopefully these guys are going to meet up sometime in the future. I don't know how they're going to do it.
I have a theory.
Okay. I was going to say Thor Ragnarok, but let's...
No, my theory is we're going to get to this later on, is the Infinity War. The third Avengers movie. They just announced that the third Avengers movie is... going to be called Infinity War.
Yeah.
And we always thought up until this point there was going to be Avengers Infinity War and then part 1 and 2.
Right, it'd be split like
they've announced that it's not going to be split. It's going to be 2 separate movies. It's going to be Infinity War and then Avengers Untitled project right now. They haven't announced it. My theory about that is at the end of Infinity War, sorry. All the Avengers and all the heroes are dead.
Real serious? Like they'll just end the movie with them dead?
Yeah, it's gonna be the Empire Strikes Back of Avengers movies.
Okay.
It's gonna end on a down note. Thanos is gonna seem like he is winning or has won even.
The Infinity War's over.
And most of the heroes on Earth are dead.
Okay.
If not all. And the next movie, the Untitled one, is when the Guardians of the Galaxy come in on it. Because they're off-world. And they're going to be knowing about Thanos killing most of the heroes on Earth. And they're going to come and perhaps save the day.
That'd be cool.
That's when they meet up.
That'd be really cool.
In that second movie.
Is there anything... Because I don't know much about the Infinity Gauntlet and the gyms. Is there like a life gem or something that they could raise...
There's a life gem, I believe, and a reality gem, both.
So they'd be able, technically, if let's say the Avengers are all killed off.
That's the way it happened in the comics. It was something like 90% of the universe's population Thanos killed.
Really?
And I don't remember who it was. I think it was Nebula. Thanos. I keep saying Thor. Thanos' daughter. That gets the gauntlet and finally brings back everyone. I don't remember exactly who brings back everyone.
But somebody does.
Somebody brings back everyone for sure.
That'd be cool. But Thor...
But I think that's how it's going to happen.
I really hope that does, because that sounds like, again, take all of my money, take my home and my cats and my girlfriend, take them. I'll pay all of that to watch this. Thor Ragnarok, again, another one we didn't get to actually see. There hasn't been leaks of a trailer. I don't know if they got to see a trailer or what, but there's been a lot of little hints about it. I haven't seen it myself, but there are pictures of the Hulk with armor on, like Planet Hulk.
Yeah, very reminiscent of Planet Hulk. Supposedly, this is how they're either going to introduce Planet Hulk into being its own movie, or they're just doing it in this movie, all in one.
And then also I heard that Thor is having visions of Thanos as well, which does make sense. I think that's a reliable thought or idea because in the second Avengers movie, which is I think the last time we saw Thor, he's having some sort of visions when he goes into that pool of water.
Yeah, he's having some sort of crisis. And I had heard that in that pool of water that there are deleted scenes that kind of extend his visions and what he saw and why he left Earth.
Okay. Well, I mean, I'm really excited for both of these movies. I don't know the date right now for Thor, but I do know that Guardians is next May. Although I hate the summer, God, bring Guardians. I wish we could just skip ahead to see Guardians 2. Man, I loved that first movie. I'm gonna go watch that.
So refreshing, like just something we didn't know much about, and it was awesome.
Yeah. So and it was a comedy movie before it was an action movie too, and it was every joke hit, and every time I've watched the movie, every joke hits still. I think back to my favorite part of the movie when Batista, his character is when he's first kind of introduced, and Quill says something about, "Hey, you've heard of that expression, right?" And the guy says, "Yeah, yeah." And then Batista looks at him, "Nope, never heard of it." You know, that it sums up the whole movie. It's just it's hilarious, but it's also an action movie. It's not an action movie that's also funny, and you don't get that very often. So another thing that we really are, well, I'm really excited about. I don't know how much Tom is.
I'm indifferent.
I just bought the newest collector's edition because with any trilogy that's decent and sells well, there's a million collector's editions for anything. Like Star Wars, you own how many copies of Star Wars?
All of them.
All of them.
Everyone that's come out.
I own 2 copies of each Star Wars movie at least. But Jason Bourne, the Jason Bourne trilogy, not counting the Bourne Legacy, because that not everyone liked it. I liked it.
Bourne
Jeremy
Hawkeye.
Renner. Yeah.
Okay.
Bourne Hawkeye. Bourne Hawkeye. Well, that's what it's called from now on. The Jeremy Renner film. I liked it, but not a lot of other people liked it. So they consider just the Bourne with Matt Damon the trilogy. That aside, I bought those. They were delivered to me yesterday, which is Friday, and I've watched all 3 of them since then.
You bought physical copies. I thought you just got digital.
I bought physical copies, and it came with the digital as well. So
Okay,
I put them on there so you could try to catch them. But
I might watch them sometime.
But since you're going to go see the 4th one with us tonight, I'll just kind of let everyone hear who's watching, and I'll let you know. I'm going to go ahead and sum up the 3 movies since I've watched them inside of the last 12 hours. So, Jason Bourne lost his memory, doesn't know who he is, wakes up, and slowly starts putting back his memory together, but still doesn't have very much of that memory. He finds out his name's Jason Bourne, and he was being used by the government as a weapon. That's all you need to know for the 4th movie. You probably knew all of that already, but as I didn't really remember before, but now I do remember. Not a lot of stuff happens in the first movie, and not a lot happens till the end of the 2nd movie. But the crazy thing is, they're all really good movies because they're really thrilling and they're really good chase movies. So I think with that being said, with the chase and with the thrill, I think it's time to fast forward to the future again.
I'm okay.
Ready to see a review?
Yeah.
All right. Let me hit the button. Ready? Let's go. Whoa! So we went and checked out Jason Bourne in the Kirksville Theater.
And now we're back in Iowa, and it's like 1:30 in the morning.
Yeah. What did you think of Jason Bourne?
It was the best Bourne movie I had seen ever.
As you guys know, this is the first Bourne movie that he's actually seen. For me, since I haven't seen it, or I have seen all of them, it was my favorite. I don't know. It's hard to judge a Bourne movie based upon just their merits alone because they're not. I don't know. There's not a lot of substance to them, honestly, right?
All the same is what you said.
Yeah, all of them are the same movie. It's just a bunch of action and chase scenes all linked together with like 3 pieces of information in the entire movie.
Yeah, it is very much a revenge movie, but you don't know why he's getting revenge. Really, he knows that he was wronged.
Yeah,
and he needs to rectify it.
Yeah. I think this is the last one. It seems like this is the last one. Anyways.
God, I hope so.
You wouldn't go see another one?
I don't care.
You don't care to see one? I think
it was a little, like the last chase scene, the car scene, a little long.
It was long for you. Well, this was the most that was ever at stake in any of them. I think you should probably still watch the other 3. Just, I don't know, maybe. I don't know. But you don't have to. Obviously, you've seen this one. You've seen all of them, honestly. This movie had the most at stake out of everything, and it gave you the most information. So I'll give it, out of 5, I'll give it a 3.
A 3?
Yeah.
Yeah. For not seeing any of the other ones, I'd say that's probably a 3-star movie too.
All
It
right.
wasn't bad, but not great either. So,
Well, 3-star average.
all right, let's go back to the past now.
Back to the past. What?
Back to the past. We're in the future now. Remember?
Oh yeah, it is the future. Okay, I forgot all about that. All right, 1, 2, 3. Whoa! Oh, that was a great review.
That was a good review.
Oh man. Whew. Where's your dog?
Well, time travel really takes it out of me, and I'm really hungry. So
Wait. All right. It's ridiculous aside to assume that we did really travel time, but are you trying to tell me that you ate your dog?
yeah, through time travel because I was
Alive?
hungry. Well, put some barbecue sauce on him.
Alive.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus, my friend. That's disgusting. All right. So with that news aside, Friday we have the Suicide Squad coming out. We're very excited to see that. So, of course, the next time you see us, we'll have seen the Suicide Squad. I'm so freaking excited, man.
Yeah, we'll have at least seen it once.
Batman's in it, too. That's why I'm really excited.
Also, the Flash.
What? Flash is going to be in Suicide Squad?
Supposedly, that's the rumor. His name is on the credits.
Okay.
In order of appearance, and it's like halfway through.
I bet he just goes...
Well, the rumor is it's going to be part of Captain Boomerang's origin story. Like, he's going to be captured by the Flash.
Okay. That'd be cool if... the more you see of the Justice League in that and establish people, the better off I think that.
Ezra Miller's in the movie, so the Flash.
Next Saturday we have Icon 2016. There's going to be for anybody in the area. It's in Ottumwa. Please come out
Downtown, right?
Yeah. It's going to be part of it is at the Bridgeview Center and part of it is at Market on Main. Mm-hmm. I don't have the cost. We didn't write the cost down. I don't know if there is one or what it is. But they're going to have a ton. They're going to have like games set on free play, a bunch of arcade games. Please come check it out. Please come support it.
The more people show up, the more they're likely to do things around here like that. So.
Yes. There is going to be a walk of fame started for video game franchises. This is the inaugural year with it. So Pac-Man is getting a little spot, like a star or something.
Yeah.
In Ottumwa.
Hopefully the stars are pixelated.
Oh my God, that'd be cool.
If they don't, they've lost a big opportunity there.
So with that, we have the big announcement we came up with the other day. We got in touch with Walter Day, big celebrity in the video game world.
Iowa's own.
Yes, Ottumwa's own, I think. Fairfield.
Yeah.
Fairfield, yes. The King of Kong, is that the name?
That's the documentary that he was a big part of.
And then what's the new one with the snake game?
Nibbler.
Nibbler, yes, with Nibbler.
I don't remember the exact name of the documentary, but it's like...
There's a new one for Nibbler. We're going to talk to him about it because some of these questions we don't know the answers to. That's why we're asking him the questions. That and because I've heard Walter Day is a really nice guy. He's also depicted, I almost forgot, in Wreck-It Ralph.
Yeah.
That was really, really cool.
Yeah, he's like the owner of the arcade.
Yes. Walter Day always wears the referee shirt. So they actually show, if you watch Wreck-It Ralph, Walter Day is at least depicted in
We're going to have to ask him if they got his permission or talk to him about it at least.
Yes. So if you have any questions that you want us to ask of Walter, go ahead and comment those in here, and we'll get your question asked, and we'll put your name in the video too. Also be on the lookout for more video game videos from us. We're actually going to be... I looked into it because we were kind of scared about first-party Nintendo stuff.
Yeah. I've
looked into it, man, and it's not as hard as I thought it'd be, so I think we might be able to do some Let's Plays and also just some reviews.
Be able to show footage from the game without fear of Nintendo
killing
cease and
us.
Desist letters.
Yeah. Nintendo no longer has the Hillary Clinton rule of killing your family and killing you for doing things that they don't like. So
or the Tom Benson rule of wasps.
Oh yeah.
I want that wasp dead. I want his family dead. I want his house burnt to the ground.
Yes. So thankfully, Nintendo no longer lives by that policy. With that being said, I've been Jake.
And I'm Tommy, and what would you do for a Klondike bar? You don't want to know.
Jesus.